So you want to bring our guest life?
Yeah.
Do you want to do it? Do you want to do the intro? Normally I handle like the things like this, but I think you should.
Why? Just because I know them longer?
Yeah, you guys have a kind of storied relationship.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the man responsible for the career of Cypher Sounds. I mean the lavish life that I'm living because of this man. No, for real. It goes Wildman Steve, DJ Riz, Jessica, all introduced me to Funkmaster Flex.
Yes.
And his treatment of me like 12 years a slave. You know what I'm saying? was just what made me who I am today.
They made that movie about your time with Flex.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mentor, my friend, the guy who made everything possible, Hot 97. Give it up for Funkmaster Flex.
Yeah!
Woo! Yeah! Yeah! Oh, he got a recliner? Yo, his shit reclines?
Yeah, Flex gets the real shit.
Fire.
You took a lot of cheap shots, like.
No, don't you shot. It ain't got the little stick? No, I guess you just lean back and it'll just. Okay, sorry. No, I'm just joking, Flex.
Are you?
It's my guy. It's my guy.
We're gonna get to your guys' stuff later.
Yeah.
I wanna start with Flex at the very beginning. What I think is the thing that makes you happiest in the world. Some of us get to see it. Everyone who follows you on Instagram sees this.
Okay.
The love for DJing.
Yeah.
And who introduced you to DJing and music in general and how that started?
I just want to jump in real quick. He has never listened to a Juan Epstein podcast.
No, I know.
So what we do is we get in depth into the history. Well, I have never listened either. I've never listened to a Juan Epstein podcast ever in my life. So we're in the same boat. But we get in depth. We want to know even shit I don't know, like the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
This guy, sometimes I don't know if he's serious or not.
Nah, I'm being serious.
Okay. Beginning.
Yeah.
You talking like before Chuck Chill Out beginning?
Beginning.
Yeah,
The
beginning.
first memories you have of getting put onto this music and DJing culture.
All right. When I was young, I wasn't allowed to come outside. I swear to God.
Strict parents?
My parents are Jamaican. They came here 1963. Don't worry about when I was born.
No, don't worry.
They came here in 63. Look, it's Wikipedia. I was born 67. Anyway, so
God.
then I wasn't allowed to go outside. This must have been the 70s. And the older kids, I lived in the Bronx. So I lived on Dorima Avenue by Baychester. And the guys that were big in the neighborhood at the time, my block was Slick Rick lived on the corner. I lived in the middle. And Chuck Chill Out was dating a girl on the other side of the corner. So
Wait, Slick Rick, literally, you knew him before he was Slick Rick?
we knew he used to rap. And I remember him, we were playing baseball, he was walking up the block, and one of the older kids said, "Hey, I heard you're gonna be at a jam. I heard you're gonna," he said something, "I heard you're gonna be someplace with Dougie Fresh." And I guess that was before he met him.
Wow.
And then Chuck used to drive through the block. In case you know, Chuck Chill Out was, for me, he at the time he had a show on Kiss FM on a Friday night, and that's where I really get that whole West Side, riding down the West Side Highway, because I used to ride the West Side Highway with Chuck Chill Out, and I used to drive. I was his gopher. So that means go get the hamburgers, go get the, whatever it was that was possible. And that's how you got to hang out with somebody as popular as him. So that was like my introduction, at least to the whole radio thing. But prior to that, when I couldn't come outside, because as you see, I have a problem talking about that part. My parents were Jamaican. It wasn't cool. Are there any West Indian people in the house? When I was a kid, no one would have made any fucking noise If you just said any Jamaicans in the house, it wasn't cool.
Oh, it wasn't
to
cool
be-
back then.
They snapped on you in school. They called you a beef patty and a cocoa bread. I'm just telling you, that's what, so I didn't really say a lot that I was Jamaican. So I wasn't allowed to go out, and what made you popular back then was if you had the latest Cold Crush Brothers tape. So in case you didn't know who, does anyone, I'm just curious, does anyone know who the Cold Crush Brothers? Grandmaster Caz, JDL, Easy AD, Almighty KG, DJ Charlie Chase, and Tony Tone.
Syfe, how many of those guys could you have named before if someone said name the Cold Crush Brothers?
2.
2. Yeah, me too. I'm at 2.
So they weren't just, why it was important to have their tape was their tape had all the cool slang. So in between the routines, you'd hear like the word fresh, or they'd say what street was popping or what borough was popping. But they were playing parties 2-3 times a week. So how you got the attention of the older kids on your block is if you had the most recent Cold Crush Brothers tape, you were the man. You controlled the box. Yeah. So.
But what were the tapes of? They were DJing or they were performing? Were they DJs? Like were they DJing the parties?
They were DJing and harmonizing, mostly off of a song called Rocket in the Pocket and a song called Love Rap by Spoonie G. So that was my understanding. He was the, Grandmaster Caz is the first person I saw wear his hat like this. And his feet, I'm gonna show you.
Please.
He was the first one I saw stand like this. His hat was cocked to the side. And if you went to a party, people like Kumo D, or people that were important, made sure that they said hello to him. So that's when in case anyone ever lies to you, Grandmaster Caz is the originator of the word fresh. He was the first one to say it. That's it. There's nothing else. So that was, I didn't have the tapes. I don't even want to lie. The older kids in front of my house, I had a big tree. And my parents, because they worked a little harder than the rest, had put up this brick concrete in front. So the kids used to come there and sit, the older kids, and they would play the latest Cold Crush tape. So I was able to go to school for the kids who were into hip hop and not have the tape, but I could sing and harmonize the most recent routine. So that's how I began to get a name for myself as a person who knew hip hop. And then I started buying those records. And Charlie Chase was what DJ Premier is, I guess, to your generation. The needle never slipped. He had a lot of pizzazz. The girls was on him. He was who was cool. That's who Jam Master Jay wanted to be like. When I used to talk to Jam Master and Run DMC, they used to say they had to be as good. Everyone familiar with Run DMC?
If you're not,
and I love them.
leave.
I love them. They are the Cold Crush Brothers on steroids. I love them though. They great job. That DMC, JDL. No one else was having letters as a name. His name is Jerry D. Lewis. That is so fly. He's so the grandest of them all, Grandmaster Caz. Crazy.
So did you then just go out and start buying records? Like you were just like,
Nobody's gonna harp on the fact that his name is Jerry Lewis.
I know you.
Fucking awesome.
I know you'd be excited
Jerry
about
D.
that.
Lewis. All the other MCs can't deal with us because we are the four known as the Cold Crush. Crazy.
Crazy.
Crazy makes to come out of car.
So yeah, how did it go from that to the record buying and the DJing?
I can't remember these turntables. I had some turntables before I got Techniques. And I started buying, I used to get $4 a day lunch money. So, crazy, right?
Parents were working hard. $4 a day.
Crazy. Because we had a bus pass. So every 2 days, I was able to buy doubles. So there was a store by the bus stop in the Bronx. I mean, I'll tell you what it was. It was Moody's in the Bronx over by 226. So every 2 days, so I used to not eat lunch and buy 2 pieces of vinyl. My first record I ever bought was Davey DMX, One for the Treble. It was the first thing I purchased. So I used to purchase, records.
How did you know about buying 2 copies of records and things like that? Like, how did you even know that stuff?
I went to the Valley Park in the Bronx. I don't know if it was Flash or Grand Wizard Theodore. But how that used to work too is the Jamaicans ran the park. The hip hop, when I used to go, was a segment until they started letting off.
Oh, no.
Or it was like, enough of this hip hop, we're gonna get to this ragamuffin. So I went to Valley Park and I think it was Flash or DST, but he was cutting the record clean too. I don't even think he was cutting, he was just keeping the beat going. And don't let anyone lie to you. The reason why you become a DJ is it's actually like a little 4-week process.
A what?
It's a 4-week process
4
before
weeks.
you become a DJ. First you try to break dance, and then you have no rhythm.
Yeah.
And that,
I know the feeling.
Because you want to know what element where you can fit in.
Mm-hmm.
So that didn't work. Then you get a pen and a paper, and you start saying, well, there's only a few positions here. There's the DJ, the dance, and then the rhyme. Okay, I can rhyme. And you start writing, and you recite something to somebody, and they go, no, that's whack. And you leave that alone, and then you go, all right, this right here, this is me. And then you become part of the equation. And don't lie, Sype, everyone does it. You did.
I did the shit.
I wrote rhymes.
I know you did.
I wrote my rhymes. I didn't try to break dance. I knew that was not even an option.
Not even an option.
Not an option. I did try graffiti though. Did you try graffiti too?
I was never good at that. I was never good at
Yeah, I was
drawing.
terrible.
Coloring. I could color with
That's not one of the elements though.
trace.
The 5th element, coloring.
And so then I wanted to DJ. That I felt like that was a place where my feet could be still and not too much microphone.
I always felt like when I first started, I was like, DJing is like like I thought rapping was like a talent that you had to be born with, but DJing was technical. So if you practice, you could get good at it, like playing guitar, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you just keep working, like, okay, I can't dance, that's not even an option. I tried writing rhymes, I was like, these rhymes suck. And then I was like, all right, DJ, that's it, because you just keep practicing.
But DJing, in a sense, DJing is sort of the hardest one because it requires saving up money, buying it's spending money the whole time.
And you was at the forefront, because at the time when I came, once again, I was a biscuit then. I was one of those dudes behind the rope. Mm-hmm. There was to be a rope. It was just like that.
Right.
It was like, you didn't even question it. You knew it was very clear what side you were on. I don't know anybody, and I can't DJ, I'm on that side. Oh, I know somebody's setting up speakers, we on the other side. That rope, that was the Source magazine, right there, that rope. It represented everything that was important, and your goal was to get on the other side of the rope. So that was what my goal was, because back then, it only happened in the park. It didn't happen in the nightclubs as yet. So the park was the most important, and Kool Herc, who was from the Bronx, and Africa Bambaataa, they were important for me. And then something that doesn't get mentioned that's probably highly important is what was important back then was the Zulu Nation DJs, which was Africa Bambaataa, Africa Islam, Jazzy J, and Red Alert. And Red Alert didn't play as much, but he taped and he was always there. So because Red was always a fixture in front of the set, even though he wasn't playing, you'll hear a rhyme and an in-between and somebody go, Red Alert, make your body work. And then they go back to whatever they're doing. but they would shout him so much, even though he wasn't playing. So he was, very influential when he got on the radio, because when kids heard him on the radio, only true hip hoppers knew that that was his second coming. Like he had had a whole career before that from the 70s as a hip hop DJ. And I think him and Jazzy J are cousins. So, Red Alert was probably, Mr. Magic, rest in peace, very influential, and Marley Marl, but for me, what he brought that Zulu Nation thing to the radio. And for people who don't know, the radio was really, the first people really on the Kiss back then was Jazzy J and Africa Islam. And they was fucking nice on that set. And Latin Rascals.
Yeah.
And Latin Rascals used to do these edits that were like that, right?
No, they said there's because Kiss FM used to be right next door to Hot 97, and I found some old Latin Rascal reel-to-reel tapes.
Amazing.
I stole them.
Music. So, and
I have them in my house.
Of course you do, and you're a hoarder, so you.
I'm falling out of order a little bit. I'm just trying to give it to you the best way I can.
Welcome to Juan Ep.
No, this is perfect. You're doing great.
That's how you hit me.
It's not generic. No generic. I'm very into this.
So,
very excited.
So that was, to take you back though, because I'm skipping so much in time, the Zulus used to have a radio show on 105.9. Then they used to have the Supreme Team. And they used to come, who said that? WHBI, 105.9. And it used to come in so crazy, you used to have to keep your antenna a certain way. But what was dope about them is the break beats, the art of DJing was always going on those shows. And it used to be on 2 in the morning. I don't want to forget anybody. It was Zulu Beats and it was Supreme Team. But Mr. Magic had a voice, and he was so stylish with it. He's the first person I heard say the boogie down Bronx, money making Manhattan. And he called himself the official voice of hip hop. I was like, this guy's swag. So crazy. So, he's the one, he polished hip hop. He polished it and made it, he didn't treat it like in the parks and it was gritty. He gave it class. And rest in peace to Frankie Crocker. And I'm trying to say the story the best way I can and as I remember. Frankie Crocker had a daughter. No. Frankie Crocker worked at BLS. He was the program director. And I think there was the lady, Mae James, who ran the Apollo, and her daughter used to listen to Magic and took Frankie Crocker down there to meet him when he got off. And I think Mr. Magic was a little disrespectful. But they worked it out. And I remember hearing Mr. Magic on BLS and Marley Marl. It was nuts. I knew I wanted to do that. I knew I wanted to be on the radio. I was like, these guys are on the radio, throwing on records, eating fried chicken, shouting at people. This is crazy. It was crazy to me. So, and then they were very powerful. And then Marley Marl, from what I understand too, he used to intern, I don't know if it was for Arthur Baker or big producers to get his shot or whatever. And then when Kiss FM came on, that was more me, because they was from Uptown. And I think, Chuck Chillout was, look, I ain't gonna lie to you, my whole style and my slang and my whole swag is Chuck Chillout. Like everything, like everything. Like his energy, like on a Friday night, he used to come on at 9 o'clock. This motherfucker used to always leave like 8:45. And he'd be like, come on, man, hurry up. And his hat would be like this. And he'd be like, what's in the deck and whatever. And then to see him carry his records and then go upstairs and throw on Eric B. for president was amazing to me. Like, I didn't understand. I was like, that guy's really up there throwing on the records. And, you know, that's really where I got my excitement from. And liking the DJing and being on the radio and the whole, you know, stuff.
Well, I mean, we got to keep going. There's a couple things I have to ask about that, but it's crazy because, and this is one of the reasons I was excited to have Flex on Juan Epstein, was get to say this to you. But like, that is literally, I can't speak for you, Said, that is precisely why I dreamt to get to Hot 97 was about you doing Friday Night Street Jam. Like, that was it. Like, I remember hearing you one night with Def Squad, right? And they were freestyling. It was the same thing that you just described it as. Y'all were just having fun, shouting out people I didn't know who they were, who are now my friends, like Big Dennis, just random name, and Mr. Excitement, and Big Cap, and all these people. I just thought, this shit is so fucking fun. Like, this is just the most fun thing ever. Now, as it turned out, I ended up just, you know, doing a morning show, and it's not remotely the same thing. But that's where I live on Sunday nights. Like, when I do my Sunday night show, I'm pretending to be that. What?
No, I was telling Flex I got out of the mornings.
No, you're off there. I know.
I made it free.
I know. 12 years a slave, unchained. But yeah, no, and I listened to Red Alert and Marley first, but for me, when I listened to you, I was like 14. It was different. I understood a little bit more.